Hold my baby squid, keep him out of sight. Talking about my life, government stay away. If you drive, I'ma do it my own way. Squid in the ocean, swimming all alone. Ain't nobody telling me where to go. Living free, gotta stay true to myself. No need for interference from anyone else. Squid pro quo, that's the way to be. Living on my terms, setting myself free. Mama to my baby, protecting with my no government intrusion. I control my life.
Hey everybody, how is everybody doing this afternoon? Welcome back to my channel. It is Squid, and joining me today is the instigator-in-chief, Spawn Trooper.
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh, how is everybody doing today? Oh, we're a little later than normal because I was the only person in class at the gym today. And I was talking to the owner after class, and the owner is an amazing woman. And her and I were just talking, and the little was hanging out, and all of a sudden I looked at my watch, and I'm like, oh, I got to go. I'm late. So I got gym hair. Y'all don't judge. But I deadlifted 200 pounds today. I'm finally back up in the 200s. I can deadlift an average American man.
Wow! Check out Unhung Hero.
I'm finally back in the 200s. That felt kind of good. All right, Unhung Hero, thank you for gifting 5 Squid Profile memberships, and I promise I will do members only stuff. I might do members only, help me record and edit a video because I suck at that. So I might as well take y'all along with me for the journey that is the shit show of me trying to record and edit a video. So I might as well take you along for the car crash that is me editing. I mean, if I'm going to do it, y'all might as well see that shit show. Yeah. Well, I might as well make it entertaining for y'all.
If I'm going to suffer, you're coming with me.
Oh, and just a heads up, Mr. Squid is totally fine today. Apparently, either he's totally fine or he's faking it very well. Everything is good. He is alive and well. He did not. I did wake up at 3 o'clock this morning. I got up at like 2:30 this morning, and I made sure that he was good before he left for work this morning. So, yeah. I was very nervous for him this morning.
Violent man.
Yeah. When you take a nice fall in a harness and you're 20 feet from the ground, when you stop falling, he was on this part of the aircraft. That's the tail section. That is broken.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Oh, my mom didn't kill me. My mom did not kill me. I'm still alive. She is not pissed. I thought she was going to kill me. I messaged Spawn Trooper after this happened, and I'm like, if you don't hear from me anymore, it's because I died. It's because my mom, when she gave this to me, because this, if you try to Google Midwest CRJ 200, 1/100 scale, you will not find another one of these on the internet. They do not exist. They do not exist. They do not exist.
Yeah.
So
especially with that livery. No, they don't.
And my mom gave it to me and told me, try not to break it. Take care of it. And I said, oh, don't worry, I will. And we have the rest of the empennage, which is what Mr. Squid was standing on when people decided to do certain things. But this goes here, and then this goes right there. And then there's 2 other tiny little pieces that go back there that I have to fix. So I have all 3 pieces right here. I have the tail. I have the horizontal stabs. And I have our CRJ.
I don't want to upset you, but I could fix that in a heartbeat. Do you want to put
I
it in
have
the
the
post?
stuff to fix it. I just haven't taken the time to do it yet because, well, life. But like the engines come off, the wings come
the
off.
engine as well.
Oh yes, it was perfect for what we needed to do for our inverted, you know.
Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. But that's the wrong window.
Oh yeah.
Does the other wing go? Does the other wing go off? Come on.
Oh yes. They both do it.
Oh, brilliant. That's
Hello,
good.
beautiful. Oh, I bring out the aircraft and the little comes in here. No, you're not touching it. You broke it once. You're not doing it again. Hi, beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Baby Squid.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
EMS.
Baby Squid. How
Steve,
you doing?
Roy, as always. And y'all hit that like button. No. No. She wants us to play. This is why we can't have nice things, huh? Hey, Amos girl, how are you?
Oh, terrible. Hi, Kay.
So we are going to go ahead and get into this. Hey, Kay, how are you? Good to see y'all here. Stop messing with my mic. This is how stuff gets messed up. And this is how mommy can't fix it. Yes. You want? Okay.
God. Today's going to be some rabbit holes.
Okay. We are going to try not to go down rabbit holes. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Well, not
Bye, gorgeous.
many, but
Bye. All right. So we're going to try not to go down rabbit holes, but we will. It's inevitable because that's just what we do. So we have about 2 hours to get through as much of this as possible. First things first. The piece of information that from the DC plane crash that was never an important piece of information because it just never mattered. The gender of the pilots involved in the DC helicopter crash.
Exactly.
The gender and the rank of the instructor pilot and the training pilot. The instructor pilot was a chief warrant officer and was a male. The other pilot was a captain and a female. Not really newsworthy. I knew it before, but I never mentioned it because it was never an important detail until we get to something such as this. Army Black Hawk pilot in DC crash failed to heed flight instructor's command 15 seconds before deadly collision.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid this bit, but let's jump into this rabbit hole, shall we?
Yeah, this will be the first one, so we just get it out of the way, because, like, I never brought it up when we were talking about it initially, because it literally didn't matter. She was a female, big fucking deal. Like, the pilot in Canada
but
was
it didn't matter, did it? I mean, while we were discussing that NCT, what that fucking report, when it came to gender, rank, it didn't matter. It was the facts of the accident that mattered.
Yeah.
So.
And this could send you down
a big rabbit hole. Yeah. You got parachute ready?
Rabbit holes and or conspiracy theories and or whatever you choose. And I'm going to sound like a protagonist with this, but I have theories based on what I have seen as a female in the military who has dealt with female officers and male officers.
Do you want to make that a little bit bigger?
This I can't.
Oh, okay then. Okay.
It's the internet. I can't make it any.
Okay. No, it's okay. I just thought, for
But
people.
what's weird is it's showing all of my tabs that are open, and I don't know why StreamYard does that. So we're gonna stop sharing, and we're gonna try to share this again. What's funny is it no longer, it doesn't share my window. Streamlabs is very, very weird lately. Whereas when I choose a tab, it shows my whole thing instead of just I can't share two different things. When I share two different things, it defaults the other one to the window. So yeah, it's a pretty big fact if the student ignored the instructor's orders. And I don't think, here's where my brain goes as a female in the military. Did she not, I have two main things. Did she ignore his command because she outranked him? And it was a rank? Or it was because she was a female who didn't like taking orders from a male? Or was she a female who didn't like taking orders from a male who was underneath her, so to speak?
Interjection?
Interject as much as you want. And I promise y'all, if I look annoyed if he interrupts me, I promise you I interrupt him all the damn time. So it's just payback.
It doesn't bother me a bit.
No,
I'm a guest. I'm a guest.
I interrupt his ass all the time.
I'm a guest here. So from a male former soldier's perspective, you can't really make any type of statement until you've actually investigated any history of that type of behavior where it's like the rank's gone to their head, or their abuse of power. The only way you are able to confirm that type of behavior is by speaking to colleagues, speaking to family, and actually investigating it. So, but it does happen. It does happen. Like there are some people with rank, it doesn't matter if they're male or female. As soon as they get into a certain rank, they think that they can do and say what they like. And, it does happen with officers quite a lot. And it also happens with senior NCOs. And believe it or not, it happens with lance corporals and corporals as well. When they get promoted, it goes to their head. And it can happen. So that's my insight.
It does happen with everybody. It does tend to happen with officers more, especially when you get like an officer who's been in for like 2 years versus like an enlisted who's been in for like 15.
Yeah.
Tends to be the enlisted person knows more about what they're doing than the officer just based on time in service. However, the officer tends to think that they know more just because they're a higher rank. There's but I've seen it where I've had female officers who think they're the shit because they're a female officer. And I've also had female officers that were like just one of the guys. Like you were just like they blended in. Like you would obviously you knew that they were female, but like they didn't go out of their way to let you know that they were a female officer. So it could go either way, but a lot of time officers are worse than enlisted when it comes to letting you know what their rank is, especially when they're like they're maintenance officer or they're not a pilot. Like you're in a squadron, but they're not a flying position and they're an officer. They somehow have this chip on their shoulder because they have to compete with pilots. Like supply and maintenance and, people like that. So.
Just very quickly, just to give people an insight, I've had the unfortunate pleasure of, going to the RMAS, which is the Officer Candidate School or Officers Training establishment here in the UK called Sandhurst. And you get it on both sides, both regular and reserve, where officers, they go in, they join the military as an officer, they do their training, and they come out, and because they've learned everything fresh, they have this this overzealous behavior of thinking that they know everything's right. And I had a situation where we had a brand spanking new officer, 4 or 5 months, and we were on exercise, and he had a stoppage, sorry. And because we were using blanks, you know, all you have to do is remove your magazine, you know, cock over, hold and open your firing parts, and fucking remove the blockage. He didn't know how to do it. It's simple. It's the simple things. Now, just imagine you take that situation where someone thinks they know everything, but they're flying an aircraft at night with NVGs. And this is when my question, going back to that freaking rabbit hole, is how much experience did she have with NVGs, now that we know it's a female captain? And also the behavior and everything else. And now, if this has now come up to the surface that there was some sort of interaction 15 seconds before impact, what was the whole flight like? Your Honor?
And we're doing a lot of speculating here,
Yes.
just based on prior experience with females in the military and just officers in general. No offense to my officer friends. You know who you are. I love you guys, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, in the old days, we used to call them a plank. With all due respect, you're a plank, sir.
When you have an ensign who stands in front of the master chief, maintenance master chief, and tries to tell maintenance master chief what he should do, it's like, that's probably not a good idea for you. But okay, you want to do that? You're gonna see real fast that that's probably not a good idea. There's a reason that the maintenance master chief has footprints in the floor in front of his desk. That's where you go to get your ass chewed. I've been there a time or two. It is not fun.
I've got a question for you, though.
Yeah.
Now, just hypothetically speaking, we knew about all this and about this about this report here. Say, for example, just hypothetically speaking, we knew about this. Now, if there is a history, and you've been there, I've been there, there's been a lot of people who've served have been there, where they've got someone in their platoon or in their company or regiment who's an absolute pleb, right, and causes problems, always gets into arguments, always has fallouts with other officers or senior NCOs or junior NCOs, whatever, right? The fact that they put her in an aircraft, and I'm not talking about her as a female now, I'm talking about her as an officer, a captain. The fact that they put her in an aircraft with an instructor pilot who was a lower rank. Now, it doesn't matter. Rank is irregardless. If you are a trainer or an instructor, right, when it comes to your lessons or when you're training someone, rank goes out the window, because you as the trainer have overall authority. So if you, and that's where a lot of people make the mistakes. It doesn't matter what rank. I tested a colonel on BCDT, which is Battlefield Casualty Drills trainer, okay? And I tested him and I failed him. And I told him, go away, think about what you've done, and then we'll do it again, sir. Not a problem. Came back about half an hour later and he passed, right? And that is the responsibility as an instructor. Now, this is where I'm struggling to understand why they put a warrant officer in an aircraft, which is, I don't know, with a captain. Why didn't they put someone like a colonel or a full, I don't know, a lieutenant colonel or someone similar, equal, or a little bit higher rank? Because maybe speculative, maybe this incident wouldn't have happened in the first place because of the communication.
And here's the other thing too. She was Buck Naked brings up a really good point consider her most recent assignment was White House staff, subconsciously feeling she was superior in all regards. I mean, yeah, because that last administration kind of put your gender on a pedestal where certain people were higher regard than others just based on what they have swinging or not swinging between their legs, so to speak.
Man sausage and Taco Bell.
It's just, and this is all speculation. She could have been the most humble and she just didn't hear it. I don't have access to her service record. So this is all speculation from me. But
it does have a good point though.
It is something to think about. So it's, let's get back into reading this. The Army Black Hawk pilot involved in the Washington, D.C. plane crash failed to heed her flight instructor's warning just 15 seconds before the deadly crash that killed 67 people, according to a new report. Moments before the deadly January 29th crash near Reagan International Airport, Captain Rebecca Lobach missed an order from co-pilot Andrew Eves, who was overseeing her training mission, to change course and avoid the descending American Airlines jet, the New York Times reported. Along with the error, officials found that the pilots stepped on some of the air traffic controller's instructions, meaning they accidentally cut him off when pressing the button to talk over the radio, likely missed important information. A key moment occurred around 8:46 p.m. when Eves requested and received approval for the helicopter pilots to use their own visuals instead of air traffic control to avoid other air traffic. The move is common practice to speed things up, but of course comes with the risk of more human error. My personal issue with that is if you have NVGs on, you already have a narrower view. You have a narrow field of view. You should not be in charge of, if it's two military aircraft, fine. Because joining the military, you kind of take on that responsibility, and you kind of expect certain things. But those were civilian aircraft that you were dealing with and trying to navigate around. You should have not, when you're dealing with civilians, that should be a whole extra level of safety, that they should have let air traffic control deal with it.
If you ever want to know what it's
personal opinion.
If you ever want to know what it's like, well, it's not going to give you the 100% effect of what it's like wearing NVGs and NOGs, right? If you get a pair of binoculars and then you look, and what you do, you don't try to bring it down to one circle. You open them up and then bring it down to one circle and then put something dark over it, because the depth perception. And this is why, I mean, every time we talk about this, the first thing that comes into my head is like, how long or how much experience has she had with NVGs? I mean, that's been bugging me since day one.
Understandable. Like I don't disagree with you on that. It's just one of those, like, if this paragraph right here really concerned me, like that they wanted to use their own visuals instead of air traffic control. It's like, if you're dealing with two military aircraft, fine. You want to use your own visuals, fine, because you're assuming that risk being in the military. You're assuming a higher level of risk but civilians didn't ask for that shit. They didn't ask to be crossing paths with a helo using NVGs when they're just trying to get home from a competition.
Yeah. And my argumentative question is this: why did the ATC, considering that is quite a busy airfield or airport, why did they allow that to happen? That's another. There's a lot of factors that are coming into this that, I mean, everyone can have an opinion about, oh, you got officers or you got senior NCOs who've got a bit of a chip on their shoulder and they think that the sun shines out their ass and, they can do what they like. But we're talking about someone, this is, I'm going to try my best to avoid saying what I want to say because I just don't want to be I don't want to be accused of being stereotypical because we're talking about.
No, I'll be the misogynist here.
Yeah, it's just that, like, the thing is, people are going to say, "Oh, you're saying that because she's a woman." Oh, you said no. No. There are people in the armed forces who are fucking arrogant as hell. The higher the rank, the more arrogant they get. They think that they can do and say what they like, right? And then when they get caught out, right, they get the choice: resign your commission or have the book thrown at you. That's their way out. This here cost 67 people's life because of a possibility of arrogance. The typical, stereotypical officer mentality.
And the problem, the problem that I see is, unfortunately, and this is going to come out, there's no easy way to say this one, but this is why we talk about difficult subjects on here, because there is no easy way to say some of this shit.
No, there isn't.
But because she passed away as well, there is no justice for the families. Like, I mean, those families are left with no closure on what actually happened because you can't hear it from the person who possibly caused it. Hey, Greta.
Yeah, but Naked just put a very interesting comment up there. It said that was right at the transition point. The Black Hawk was being handed over to Pentagon ATC, and there was confusion as to where the copter was. Now,
but Naked, we're going to get to that. Huh? We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We'll get to that. You bring up a really good point, but I have a feeling that we're going to get to your comment and.
Oh God, not another rabbit hole.
Oh yeah. And this one was this article was written yesterday. So during that moment, investigators believe Eves and Lobach failed to hear that American Airlines plane was circling because one of them was pressing the microphone key to speak to air traffic control when the word came through. Just 20 seconds before the crash occurred, the air traffic controller asked the helicopter if it spotted American Airlines Flight 5342, which was coming up on runway 33 where the chopper was approaching. Pat 25, do you have the CRJ in sight? He asked, using the abbreviation for the model of Flight 5342's aircraft. That was the last communication between the plane and the air traffic controller. Technology on the Black Hawk that would have allowed air traffic control to better track the helicopter was also found to be turned off that day, common protocol if the training mission had been for real.
You should have put the harness on before we went down this rabbit hole.
Well, let's not talk about harnesses and falling, shall we?
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was too soon. Sorry.
He's fine. So he says. Either that he's either fine or he's a really good liar. Either way, he's not limping today, so we're good. But it was a practice mission involving an annual flying assessment for Robach. I'm assuming that was Lobach. This is where proofreading New York Post comes into play. Who was training as if top congressional officials needed to be flown from the Capitol under siege. But this is a training mission, so this should not have happened. You don't run training missions like this. You don't turn this stuff off. Like you don't do that. Like, at least I've never seen that happen. Maybe Mr. Squid has, but in our aircraft, I'm pretty sure if we did that, if our pilots did that, we would have known about it. Somebody would have been briefed on it. Or generally they would have written a MAF that says does not work in OFF position, because some people are just that stupid. But it was a practice mission involving an annual flying assessment for Robach, whose training if congressional officials needed to be flown out of the Capitol under siege. Practicing. Keyword, practice. Practice. Hey, Taz. And hey, Christine. Brigadier General Matthew Brayman, the Army's Director of Aviation. This is what happens when you let soldiers fly. Sorry.
No.
Said it was clear that multiple factors contributed to the deadly crash. I don't necessarily believe that, but okay. I think he's gaslighting. I think that what we'll find in the end is there were multiple things that had any one of them changed, it could have well changed the outcome of that evening. True, but you can say that about anything. So that's a very general statement, because you can say that about anything, like any situation.
Self-preservation, that comment.
Yeah, that's a very general way to, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to cover my ass before I cover anyone else's ass. That's a self-preservation comment, that one.
Only when it needed, if it was going to do something it did not want to be tracked. I could see turning it off if you're like under siege and trying to get congressional people. But if you're doing a training mission, I believe that ATC, especially, okay, and here's the other thing. If you're truly flying a congressional mission where you're getting Congress people out of Washington, you can be damn sure that all the flights coming into DCA are going to be diverted. So you're not going to have to deal with crossing an active runway. So there's that too. Hey, Mitch. Hey, how are you? That's why I'm guessing you was a Marine, so flying for you. I was not a Marine. I was a sailor.
I wasn't a Marine. I was in the Army. I worked for a living. Whoops.
We don't have any crab eaters in here right now. I don't know where they're at.
I'm glad you said it before I did.
I don't know where they are. I have to message them and be like,
I mean, we definitely got a tanky in here.
Yeah. Did you see what Roy said to me yesterday? He said, well, Roy said about me yesterday. He was like, Squid's the only one who's managed to keep me in line by wrenching me down, or something like that, or cuttering me down with a wrench. And I was like, booyah, tank boy.
Yeah, boy, fucking tank boy. Oh, shit.
Oh, that's Roy's new nickname, is Tank Boy.
Can you remember the film called Tank Girl?
I don't. That was before my time.
If anyone does, just imagine Roy. I'm sorry, mate. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm gonna get it. But let me very quickly in regards to this. Right, why is a brigadier general coming out with a typical statement like that? Why? I mean, one thing I can say for a fact that there is basically, I'm going to cover my backside. I'm going to cover my department and go from there.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know.
Oh, Roy, you just now. I'm sorry, but I have to say this. No, wait. You went from a working class to being a desk jockey. Well, come on.
Old age will do that to you.
No comment. I don't have gray hair yet, but all the hair on my legs are gray.
I have hair that have gray hair. Just kidding.
Oh, this is funny.
You muted yourself.
I know I got to because I just laughed. I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay, serious topic. Go.
When Carter was president, he cut back on allowable flying hours. Hueys were only allowed to have 100 blade hours annually. When Reagan took over flight time ballooned, there was a large increase. I feel like that happened when a large increase in incidents. I feel like that happened when Bush was president and then Obama became president, because that's when I was in. All of a sudden, we went from having the money to fly training missions to like nothing. We didn't have the money. We didn't have the budget to fix the planes that we would fly. So we would sit there and do nothing on a daily basis because we didn't have the, yeah. All right, let's get back into this. Aviation experts have long bemoaned the practice of allowing pilots to navigate on their own, as human error can often lead to tragedy, especially in the exceedingly busy conditions around Reagan Airport. You think? Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has since openly criticized the long-standing practice and vowed to get rid of as he likened it to threading a needle. I believe when this is, I don't think getting rid of it is appropriate, but when you're crossing an active runway with civilian aircraft, I believe that that's an appropriate thing to do, my opinion. Whatever you think of this transportation secretary, whatever you think of this cabinet, at least they're doing shit. At least they're doing what they've said they were going to do. Whether you like it or not, at least they've said, I'm going to do this, and they've moved towards actively doing what they said they were going to do. Whatever you think of, for better or worse, they've actively said, we're going to try and do this, and they're actually doing it. So, like, which is more than I would say from the time I started voting. So the last 25 years or 21 years that I've been voting age, this is the first time that I've really seen people say, we're going to do this, and actually do it. Whether you like it or you hate it, you have to agree that when people say we're going to do this, they're doing it.
Don't you think it's too little too late? I mean, like, how many close calls or incidents have happened at that airport before and after that incident?
Well, we gonna get to that too.
Oh, okay. If I jump in that, yeah, I'm sorry.
There was also an apparent discrepancy between two of the three Army pilots aboard the doomed chopper. There wasn't three Army pilots, so there was two pilots and an air crewman, which is generally an enlisted person, at least in the Navy. They're the search and rescue swimmer. Just saying about what altitude they were flying at, according to investigators, and they were well above the 200-foot limit for that location. At one point before the collision, the helicopter pilot announced that they were at 300 feet, but the instructor pilot was also heard the helicopter was at 400 feet, according to recordings. Yeah, crew chief in the Army. Generally in the Navy, they are your air crewman, and they are a search and rescue swimmer, because, you know, being aboard ship, you know, you need to have, you know.
But the thing is, one thing in regards, like, they haven't added the change of runways in this statement. That's one thing I've noticed so far.
Yeah.
So they're trying to concentrate this whole thing on the Black Hawk crew, but they're not adding the fact that the plane was moved from runway 1 to runway 3.
Well, they did mention that they didn't hear that the aircraft was circling up here. During that moment, the investigators believed Eves and Roebuck failed to hear American Airlines plane was circling. So that would be when they got diverted from 15 to 33.
But circling would mean something else, wouldn't it? That means they're above, they're on a holding pattern? I
believe that in the report, that's when they got diverted from one runway to whatever runway that was, 21 to 33.
Right. The circling around from two. Right, got you.
So
Why did I just have a blonde moment there? Anyway, yeah, go on.
that's I don't know.
Yeah.
At the time of the fiery crash, the Black Hawk was flying at 278 feet, NTSB head Jennifer Homey said, adding that doesn't mean what the Black Hawk crew was seeing on the barometric altimeters in the cockpit. The Black Hawk collided with Flight 5342, which was en route to Reagan National Airport from Wichita, Kansas at 8:47:59 p.m. The fiery collision sent both aircraft plunging into the Potomac River, marking the deadliest U.S. air disaster since 2001. And obviously, we all know what that U.S. air disaster in 2001 was, so we don't need to. But there's this. NTSB concerned over 15,000 near misses between helicopters and planes at DC Airport, and just 3 years before the crash that killed 67.
15,000. So there's not a big serious problem there, is there? Right?
None whatsoever.
No, absolutely none whatsoever. Don't worry about it. Move along. Nothing to see here.
No. NTSB uncovered 15,000 near-miss events between helicopters and jets at Reagan National Airport in just 3 years leading up to the American Airlines jet and Army helicopter collision. And I'm going to kind of skip the details that we know, like this part right here. Yeah, I'm just going to, because with that, may they rest in peace, we already know that they passed away, including at least 11 children. Helicopter routes near Reagan National Airport regularly cause an intolerable risk to aviation safety, NTSB Chairwoman Jennifer Homendy told reporters Tuesday during an update on its investigation into the January 29th collision. In addition to more than 15,000 near-miss instances in which helicopters and jets at the airport came within 1 nautical mile and 400 vertical feet of one another between October of 2021 and December of 2024. There were another 85 closer calls when helicopters and planes came within 200 vertical feet of one another. We remain concerned about the significant potential for future mid-air collisions at DCA, Hamidi said. In response to the alarming findings, the NTSB said it was recommending that the chopper route where the catastrophic collision occurred be closed down and an alternate route be established. Do you think?
Now, I mean, I don't want to be obvious, but 1, okay, 2, yeah, right, 3, okay, we need to do something about this. But 15,000 before the incident, and then there were some after. I mean, what are they doing with? 1 second, I'm going to my happy place for a second there. No disrespect, but like, what's the point? What is the point of paying to train people and to set up an organization to ensure the safety of aircraft and passengers, and also people on the ground? You should have been dealing with this with 3 close calls, not 15,000. And now, and one thing I've noticed over the last 15, 20 years, maybe here in the UK, maybe over there in the United States, all right, but the government or governmental bodies will not do anything or pull their thumb out their ass until, unfortunately, someone is unalive. Once then someone is unalive,
unfortunately, we're reactionary. Everything is a reactionary instead of a preventative.
Exactly. And by the time you actually do something, it's too late. You should be preventing it from happening in the first place. I mean, 15,000, eh? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I have to look into who this Jennifer Homendy is, because I've never actually looked at the head of the NTSB. I've never felt the need to, but when I need to figure out how long she's been in that position, if the findings left her angry, and how did we not know this sooner?
Okay, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works now, all right? Because this has just popped into my head. Okay, let's play devil's advocate. 15,000, right? So from 2001, that's after 9/11, right? Until December 24, right? So this is just in one place. This is just at one airport. 15,000. So hello, my queen. 15,000. So here's my question. Go and calculate and find out how many major airports there are in the United States. And then on one side, write on the one side how many there are. And then write every single airport down. And on the right-hand side, write down how many close calls there were before there was a major incident at that airport.
Not that Savannah is a huge, need to get.
Wow, 50.
Not like Savannah is, needing these special missions to get like legislatures out of an area.
Yeah.
But there's a Army airfield near Savannah's airport as well, not far from Savannah's airport. So I don't think those two cross paths, but you never know. Because I didn't think that this happened.
Did I send you that link or that video about the two planes?
The two Cessnas?
maybe showing that and just showing how close that got. But this is absolutely ridiculous. 15. I mean, it's really strange. Through one incident, all this stuff starts coming to the surface. So instead of flapping your gums about it and saying, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that," actions speak louder than words. They should be going, right, that helicopter route is now closed. Right? If you want to fly, you have to use ATC. There's no changing, and that goes for military and civil aircraft. They can't continue to allow this to happen. Yes, training missions and stuff like that, you can do that over places where there's less population, but 50, I'm surprised at that. Why didn't you tell me this before?
Well, we are recommending a permanent solution today, Halmandi said, later adding that the findings had left her angry that nothing had been done to mitigate this risk sooner. NTSB did not provide answers to lingering questions about the heights the Black Hawk chopper was flying along that route when the collision occurred, explaining that investigators were still analyzing flight data and wouldn't reveal anything but the facts, which, okay, that they reveal facts. Leave it to people like me to speculate. That's my job. That's my prerogative to speculate. It's not theirs. Flight data was uncovered early in the crash investigation, showed a conflicting account of where each aircraft was flying when the incident or when the accident occurred. Okay, so joint with Anacostia, Boeing. The jet's flight recorded American Airlines plane flying at around 313 feet when the impact occurred, while Reagan Tower read the choppers flying at 278 feet. Something that...
I think they made a mistake there. 313 feet, 278 feet.
Yeah.
That would make it over 20. That's 22 feet, 32 feet, 35 feet gap. So if there's so how the hell do they hit each other then? Because
something is not in the.
Yeah, it's not mathing. That's not mathing.
Yeah, something's not. Yeah. Roy said Biggs Army Airfield and El Paso International Airport are right next to each other and nothing happens here.
What of Roy? Or can that be? Yeah. I live in the harbour. My port can see flights coming and going from Huntington with the addition of small airport serving a town of 40,000. Right, okay.
I mean, it's just yeah.
One second, I have to say this. Do you know sometimes you scare me when you say shit like that? Because you just do. But I still love you.
You better love me before.
Go. I am busy. We are.
You're really. So do you want me to cook you some dinner?
Yes, darling. Leave me alone.
Want some sausage?
Yes, please. That I'm talking about an NTSB report. Don't look at me in that way.
Don't let me be rude.
I'll fight you.
Yeah. Oh, come.
Okay. Someone send help. Oh God. No, seriously. Still love you though.
No, what happened? I
I
hate
don't
when that
know.
happens.
Why did I wait? What? Oh,
We
God.
disappeared. We disappeared, but we're back.
I'm still here. I'm here.
We're still here. Miss Spawn, you go, girl, get him.
Yeah, no. I'm the boss of this house. I'm the one who wears the mini skirt.
Y'all crack me up.
Uh,
All right. Well, here's the one that was written yesterday. FAA confirms government failure at Pentagon in wake of deadly DC plane crash. Ooh, here we go. We're about to jump into a rabbit hole the size of the Grand Canyon. A key hotline between Reagan National Airport and the Pentagon has been down since March of 2022. A FAA official confirmed on Wednesday. In testimony before the Senate Commerce Committee, FAA official Franklin McIntosh said the Pentagon maintained hotline had been down since March of 2022, and the FAA wasn't aware of the outage. Oh, thanks, Biden. The testimony came just days after Virginia-based Army unit resumed flights following a January 29th helicopter collision with a commercial jet that killed 67 people. Aviation officials only learned of the issue this month after air traffic controllers at DCA had to wave off 2 flights due to an Army helicopter approaching the Pentagon. The incident this month raised new concerns about coordination between the military and the FAA in the congested airspace around the nation's capital. An FAA official testified before the Senate that the agency was considering suspending its flight agreement with the military. Probably a good idea. Probably a good idea.
I have to.
Oh, and this is one we haven't discussed yet, but we will be getting to. Newark lost their Newark's air traffic control lost their communications and all radar screens, not once but twice.
When was this?
This was a couple weeks ago, and then like 3 or 4 days ago. So yeah, we Newark, in New Jersey. Yeah. So this is where Mr. Squid was when him and I were talking. He said that follow the money. He was the one who told me to follow the money because a lot of the FAA's budget should be going to update the equipment. And where is it actually going? Because that equipment is not being updated. Hi, beautiful.
There you go. Can we help you?
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I think what we do, I think we should do that. I think we should do that.
Taz, what's up? I missed something. And I appreciate everybody for being awesome in this chat. Y'all are my ride or dies, and I love you.
Yeah.
During his testimony, McIntosh emphasized the need to restore the communication line between the Pentagon and air traffic control. We're insisting on that line to be fixed before we resume any operations out of the Pentagon, he said. The U.S. Army temporarily suspended helicopter flights near DCA on May 2nd after 2 commercial planes aborted landings due to an Army Black Hawk en route to the Pentagon. The close call involved Delta A319, that's an Airbus, and a Republic Airways E170. That is the airline that I used to work for. Republic Airways is the airline that bought Midwest.
So explain to the people what a A319 and an E170.
A319 is an Airbus 319. It's a 3x3 holds approximately 130 people. Be it, it's been 2010, 2011 since I was in an Airbus as far as an official capacity.
Okay.
But Airbus A319 is a pretty common aircraft. I would say Airbus is the second most common aircraft here besides
Okay.
Boeing. It's the direct competitor to Boeing. Airbus is English? No. Airbus is French. Hey, hon.
Airbus is French, yeah. Well, it's a European.
What's a European Airbus? Where are they located? Airbus.
Avignon in France.
No, Francis Bombardier.
Francis Bombardier.
Airbus is European, but they also are down in Dothan, Alabama.
And there's a repair facility in Dothan, Alabama for Airbus.
Yeah. I mean, I do know that Airbus does have a major factory in Toulouse and Avignon in France.
But A319, Frontier uses a lot of Airbuses. So when Republic bought Frontier and Republic bought Midwest back in the mid to late 2000s, I would work on, well, I didn't work on them. The airline that I worked for, I was a ramp agent. I did a lot of 318s, 319s, and 320s, and CRJ 200s, and Embraer 170s. So I'm familiar with a 170. 170 is a 2x2. Well, it used to be a 2x2. It was the best care in the air, had extended leg room. It was a very nice aircraft. And then, Royal Go-Around.com and the FAA classified the incident as a loss of separation, a serious breach of federal air safety rules.
Just fucking insane.
I mean, this is Pat 23. So we'll get into we can get into these too. Like I said, this is the never ending
Yep. Spiral.
I mean, this is like unfortunately the content gift that keeps on giving.
And
It's like
just
the Hercules of content. It never goes away.
My opinion about all this is that they're going to just give you the information that you need to know, and the rest of it is just going to be excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. That people are going to be pointing fingers at each other, blaming each other, and no one is actually going to try to. I mean, we've from 2001 to 2024, 15,000 close calls. I mean, obviously they don't give a they don't care about. So where's all the money going? I think that we should jump down that rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, that's a rabbit hole that I've
training,
been
personnel, maintenance.
Yeah. Buck naked. I know Pete Booty Call was transportation secretary, and we suffered an infrastructure decay. How involved with the FAA was he? How involved with anything was he? All I know is I don't really remember hearing about him doing much of anything. That's not to say that he didn't do anything. That's just to say I haven't heard about anything. However, playing devil's advocate, I am proof positive that we had infrastructure issues long before he was ever transportation secretary that were not addressed either. Going from everything from air traffic control to our roadways to our railways and overpasses and stuff like that. So we have many issues. Things are aging, and people, I don't know if we're in denial that shit needs to be replaced or repaired, but we're all I can remember is our maternity leave and how he was wearing some sort of thing to breastfeed a baby. If it sounds weird, that's because it is. That's. I have no problem with anybody having children, but there's just some things that people should not do, and that's just that it.
You see, this is comments like what I'm reading there. Not just fucking sound off alarm bells, but also incompetence as well. You know, like Thursday near misses involving 2 DCS flights on an Army Black Hawk. FAA says Hilo did not proceed directly to the Pentagon and instead took a scenic route around. Is that now alleged, speculation, factual? What? You see, this is what I mean. It's like a game of words. Look, say it as it is, show the evidence, show the truth, and get it out there. And if people are if pilots are breaking the rules and they're not following the system or the information that getting the flight path, whatever, if they're breaking the rules, slap them. If ATC is not doing their job properly, slap them. I mean, that comment there, what? Even police helicopters have to fly, yeah. Going back to my happy place for a minute.
Is my mom still here? Because my mom knows about more of this side of things than either Mr. Squid or I. He's worked on the manufacturing side and the maintenance side, but my mom has worked as the gate agent and has seen and worked.
I mean, all this is doing. I mean,
This is where my mom becomes my subject matter expert.
Because what I was saying, the everlasting confusion for me is this: there's no explanation, there's no solution. It's always excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. There's no solution. And if ever there was a problem to be solved, here we are. Why aren't they doing anything? I mean, if they know that these problems can exist, why are they not doing anything? Are they pocketing the money? Are they putting the money somewhere else? Why are they not upgrading the equipment? Why are they not training people?
There is a reason that people go into Congress as thousandaires and come out millionaires, and it ain't for their paycheck.
Yeah.
So the corruption is real. And that is one of the problems that a lot of people have with the current administration and basically putting all this shit out in the open is I'm so angry, like, love them or hate them, I don't care. But when people get more pissed at the people finding the corruption than the people actually being corrupt, that's a problem.
Wherever the issue is, they need, like Buck hit the nail on the head, right? If it's not broken, don't try and fix it. But one thing that we both know, and anyone else has served, right? You have to do refresher training, and because of skill fade, right? People get into bad habits after they've trained. They do their job, and then they start getting into bad habits. And then you got skill fade, and I'm seeing a lot of blame game in here. I'm so, like, fingers pointing and stuff, and and now
it really Roy brought up a really good point, and I sort of skipped over it earlier, but there was an infrastructure bill in the last administration that was like, I want to say $400 billion, just a rough estimate off the top of my head. I really want to know what was in that, because it doesn't seem like anything actually
I mean, it's like this money, this infrastructure, is it now what, to make it safer, or to make it, or are they saying, right, we're going to privatize everything, and so therefore all the private companies are legally responsible to maintain and upkeep their aircraft and their training and everything else? Or is it all the money goes into a governmental body where people turn up on your doorstep on the ATC and go, right, you and you come with me. I'm going to test you to see if you're competent enough to be responsible to, work in an ATC. I mean,
and here's the problem. Our government would rather spend time fighting each other over pronouns than fixing and how, like, what color suits people are wearing to funerals than actually fixing problems. So it's
this is all going down. This is all being funneled into one heading, where, like, what are they doing with all the money, with all the, we know where this one's going. We know where this one's going.
Oh yeah, like I said, this was a rabbit hole. And 170 can seat anywhere between 66 to 76 passengers. It all depends on how the seat configuration that does not include crew members.
Oh,
Thank you. I told you, she's my subject matter. Between her and Mr. Squid,
yeah.
we got like I got like it's not how smart you are, it's how smart the people around you are.
Yeah.
And if you surround yourself with people smarter than you in a particular area, things will get figured out.
She's having a conversation with herself there.
Oh, I gotta talk to Moosey lady, because we got in the car today and she looked to the seat. Her car seat is behind the passenger door or passenger seat. She got in the car, looked to the seat behind mine, and started having a full-on conversation, like pausing, like she was waiting for someone to talk back, and then starting to talk again. It was weird. Like, it was weird. Like, full-on weird. You want to get down? Yeah. Okay. Like, she's never done that before.
So let me ask you. That's very interesting. But obviously, children have a different connection with reality than adults have, because Now, let me ask you a question about these incidents that happen. Now, obviously, I've been sending you links to close calls. I mean, actual fact, there were two I sent you. Basically, there was one when he was landing, and then next, this plane just appeared about within 10 feet of him while they were trying to land. Another one was this plane passed underneath him within about 6 foot.
Sorry, read this comment.
Dang, Mama Squid, she treats you like a domestic electric. Yeah, he's not wrong there, to be honest with you. Mama Squid, if you need help, just blink twice.
All right, let's get.
What gets me now, obviously, a lot of these incidences are starting to come to the surface. So you would think that the government, your government over there, or the aviation or the FAA would say, right, we need to sort this out across the board.
You would think.
But where's the money going to come from?
One thing that everybody can agree on.
Yeah. It's going to cost billions. It is going to cost billions. Because we're not just talking about ATC. We're not just talking about pilots. We're talking about maintenance staff. We're talking about everything involved with an aircraft.
Y'all, there is a new short uploaded to my channel, which is apparently my daughter's knee. I just went to YouTube Studio because I wanted to see how many likes we had on this video, and to see if any of my haters wanted to downvote this video that had nothing to do with anything hater related. And where there is a new short that has 3 views. Angel, are you okay, baby?
I'm glad that we can break this up and have a little bit of a giggle here once in a while, because this stuff.
Yeah, there's a new short updated to my channel, and I didn't do it. I don't know how long it is, but it's apparently her knee. And yeah. Anyway.
That's an interesting comment there. Biden budget spent more time changing the name of the cockpit to the flight deck.
Yeah. And although I don't agree with as much as we want to, this is where people that I like their way of doing things, saying I'm going to do this and actually attempting to do it instead of being all a mouthpiece. This is where you need to stop being, well, they didn't do it right, or they spent more time on this. You just need to fix the damn problem. Stop playing politics and saying, well, they didn't do it, and just fix the shit.
Yeah.
That's my issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also the thing is, it's going to affect. I mean, it sounds a bit surreal, a little bit wrong to say this, but it is going to affect people wanting to fly, and the economy is going to nosedive. So
I don't want to fly. I will take a road trip.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the aircraft companies in the United States, they've got two choices. They can kick the FAA up the ass and say, "Look, fix this," or they can kick the government up the backside and say, "Fix it," or they can do both. So you got choice 1, 2, or 3. A lot of people, because a lot of companies are going to lose a lot of money. Oh my God, it's all coming down to bloody money.
It always goes back to the money. Follow the money. All right, let's get back into this. Although, do I agree that the last administration should have done stuff? Yes, but do I think that the administration before that, which is also the current administration, should have done shit too? Yes. Yep. Do I think the administration before that should have done shit? Yes. Do I think the administration before that should have done shit? Yes. This is not just the last 4 years. Yes, the last 4 years were god awful and brought a lot of shit to light, but it wasn't the shit didn't start in the last 4 years. The shit was just brought to the attention of the American public because it got so bad you couldn't fucking hide it anymore.
And here's another thing that I find quite strange, and it's just dawned on me. Right, I've been hearing about more air incidents and all this stuff from the United States, but I haven't heard it from here in Europe. I haven't heard, but I'm going to do some digging on this side of the pond, because I'm very interested now to actually see if this is just a United States related incident, or if look, there's accidents happen everywhere in the world. I get it, but I want to do some digging in regards of how many close calls airports have around here in the UK. And then I'm going to start venturing over into Europe, because it'll be very interesting to see if it's just incompetence of certain parts of the governmental body in the United States, or private companies, or if it is actually worldwide. And so it'd be interesting to see what it's like on this side of the pond.
Well, fuck naked, you bring up a good point that kind of leads me down a different rabbit hole. The railroad has the FRA, that's their version of the FAA, for at least the last 15 years. There's been an effort to reduce oversight, inspection, and repair. That I haven't necessarily a comment on that, but when you hear people in the news say the last few weeks, well, they're cutting this, they're cutting Medicare, they're cutting this. No, they're cutting Medicare from the 100-year-old that is not alive anymore, and their family never filed the paperwork that said they were dead, and they're still getting a check. That is what they're cutting. They're cutting the 25-year-old who hurt their back and was only supposed to be on Social Security disability for 12 months and decided that they didn't want to work anymore, so they're going to stay on it instead of being able-bodied and getting their ass back to work. Those are the things that are being cut. But when you hear, oh, they're just cutting this, it's like, no, they're trimming the fat. They're not. They're shopping at Aldi and not Trader Joe's. Like we're not doing a Whole Foods. We're shopping at Aldi. Like we're figuring out ways to reduce shit, but like no one's getting their benefits just cut for the sake of cutting. Like we're, like it's just, yeah, he who can afford the best lobbyist gets the money, and for decades it's been the military industrial complex. It needs to be the Food and Drug Administration, in the sense of not the, that's a whole nother issue. And that being said, I need to send, Dr. Joe has been doing some videos on the health secretary and who he's been putting in charge of things and his opinions on it. And I need to send him the link to my Make America Healthy Again videos, because he said that he would promote those videos, or he would share the link to those videos. And that it would be very helpful, because Dr. Joe, I would love to have a conversation with him on the health of America. Because, yeah, but that's getting back to this and the whole topic, because we could go down 800 million rabbit holes. We just need to have I just need to have a stream on like a Saturday afternoon where there is no topic. It's just a free for all. And we go down whatever rabbit hole we go down with no like, no guide. Like, right. Whereas right now we have a topic that I kind of want to stick to. Whereas like,
this can't be right. This can't be right.
What can't be right?
Military aircraft in the UK, right? There have been 832 near misses in 5 years. In 2017, there were 272 reported near misses, also known as air proximity reports, air proxies, in the UK. The number of air proxies has risen to 58% from 172 in 2013. Additionally, the number of pulse incidents category A air proxies has doubled from 22 in 2017. I mean, like I'm going to do some digging on this now. Oh, daddy happy. I'm definitely going to get into this, because the thing is, that's in 2017. That and it says here. 2017, 272 air proxies with 45 category A. In 2016, 69 drone near misses with aircraft. 2013, 172 air proxies. And in the last 5 years, the military have had 832 near misses. I'm going to jump into this.
And that's in what, Europe or the UK?
In the UK, but I mean, like every time I look for it, it will only give me the PPR Rune website. I have almost 60 close calls with a wind farm. So basically, an RAF pilots have close calls with the wind farm turbines when they're doing low flying.
Yeah.
This is worth looking into. I'm going to do some research on this, because I want to see, America is quite a large continent. I get that. And it's got 360 plus million people. Yeah. Europe. So there should be similar numbers.
Yeah. Comparable, like,
to compare. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like the,
yeah,
the ratio should be the same. Getting back to this, the close call triggered investigations by the NTSB and FAA and the Army temporarily suspended helicopter flights in the area pending review. There's another thing to look at, those reports. Like,
oh shit! Wait, what?
Yeah, that from the flights that were the 2 DCA flights that were diverted from the near misses. The NTSB did investigations on those. So
maybe the military need to update transponders and flight safety equipment in their aircraft.
Maybe the military just needs to stop acting superior because they're the military. Like they're better than everybody else just because it's the military.
Yeah, there's that as well.
I think it's more than one cause, but that's just me. The Black Hawk was transmitting ADS-B data, unlike the one involved in the January incident, and briefly disappeared from radar due to a glitch, delaying controller response. The tower was fully staffed, and both the FAA and NTSB are investigating whether flight protocols were violated. The NTSB has previously faulted the FAA for not addressing mounting risks sooner, pointing to 85 near misses at DCA over the 3 years leading up to the January's crash.
85. That's involving helicopters, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, 85. You would think after one or two, you go, I think we've got a small problem here.
Although I do agree with this statement, there's just some things that you can agree with and you can think that are just better off not said. Do most people agree that Biden and Buttigieg could have done a better job and focused on the wrong things, like the names of things versus actually the root causes of, upgrading systems that are from the 50s and 60s versus,
And also something else what really pisses me off and grinds my gears. Why would you say you are driving a plane? You're not driving, you are flying, steering. It's not a steering wheel.
Just hand Biden 50 feet of flight line and the keys to the aircraft, and we will be all good.
Yeah.
But they're like this. This is just like, to me right now, just like, okay, and whoever is timing me on before I mention what the hails, just like when I always mention how when Bubbles was acting a fool and filing stupid motions and being snarky, how Randy, even though he wanted to get snarky and he wanted to say certain things, you just need to, even though you think it, you just need to be like uber professional and you need to be the better person and the bigger person and just be super professional so that the judge doesn't have anything to attack you for. Your character needs to be better because that will not only keep you from causing problems and getting in trouble yourself, but will also make the other person look worse. It will make Bubbles look even dumber than he already is because you're acting like, the Queen of England and being all polite and professional all the damn time, even when in the face of Meghan Markle.
Well, it's the king. It's the King of England now.
Well, it's the King of England now, but that lady was like, no offense to Charles, but he will never be his mother, ever. And she had a way of, even when in the face of someone who she obviously didn't like, she was still polite and appeared to be the bigger person, even though she was the tiniest little woman. That is what you need to be when faced with someone like Bubbles. So Sean Duffy, even though we all know that things should have been handled differently and things should have been focused on names and politically correct names instead of fixing problems. However, you needed to be Queen Elizabeth. You need to be uber professional, super sweet, and you need to be the nice guy because you need to have nothing that anybody can go, well, that's inflammatory language. That's just you attacking. See, you're just attacking. You're no better than we are when we attack you. Like, you just need to be, you need to be perfect. You need to have nothing that can be attacked. No character flaws. And this right here is basically him just giving something for the other side of the aisle to attack. Instead of attacking the problem at hand, now they're going to attack your personality. And it's just like, don't give anybody ammo to attack. You need to be Queen Elizabeth. Because don't get me wrong, I like King Charles, but nobody will be Queen Elizabeth and how she handled people that she didn't like.
I mean, one thing one thing that I wanted to say, but I didn't want to interrupt you, is this: if you know you've got a problem, then the politics kick in, and people know if you want to get the money, you need to, basically play a game. And unfortunately, what they're doing, they're playing a game with people's lives and safety. Because at the end of the day, right, to get money for something, you need to create something. So, like, this is the perfect example. Like, the new administration is now in the White House, and look, they're blaming everything is their fault. Everything is their fault. But the thing is, what about saying, hey, instead of actually always playing the blame game, why not get your finger out your ass and actually give the FAA, give all these companies or these bodies, the governmental bodies, the ammunition so they can fix and solve the issues.
Well, here's the problem. The FAA last year had a $1 billion budget, and nothing got fixed. So throwing money at the problem is not helping when they already get billions of dollars. The money is not being used, and that's the problem. Therein lies the issue of where is our money going. And that is what I believe that is what people are trying to figure out. However, there's just some things that even though you can think them, you just shouldn't say them. And using inflammatory language like blaming other people, even though it might be their fault, even though I might agree with you, just sometimes you just need to shut up and just stop starting everything with they focused on the wrong shit. Well, now you're here. Just shut up about whose fault it is and just fix it.
But the thing, but here's the issue. From 2001 to present day, I think it's a collective issue of everyone's responsible for that. Because like they could have dealt with this, they could have started approaching and dealt with this in 2002, 2003, all the way up to last year. So, I mean, where do you draw the line? Where do you say, do you know what, enough's enough? You guys need to deal with this now. We need to get people trained back up to scratch. We need equipment updated. We need this, and this done. And at the end of the day, if you haven't got the money, go and get your checkbook and write a personal check to the FAA. 1 billion. I don't think 1 billion will cover your country on airports, ATC, or flight training, or skill fade training and refresher training and equipment upgrades and stuff like that. 1 billion. That's not going to be enough.
And Mr. Squid also brought up a really good point, and I'm paraphrasing because he went into detail about it. But it's also a disparity between airports like DCA and Atlanta and Chicago and airports like Madison or Wichita, Savannah, like the smaller airports that don't have the same equipment as the larger airports as well. So like there's also a disparity in how much money each airport gets. And that's not exactly how he phrased it, and that's not exactly the point he was trying to make, but just he brought up the disparity between the size of the airport and how much and what equipment each yeah.
I mean, Mama Squid mentioned so they need to update ATC towers. Some are still on floppy disk. But let me ask a quick question to Mama Squid and you, or let me put this to you. Airports need a fail-safe system just in case they have a complete system breakdown, or like the system just collapses. So I know that ATCs do have like a backup system or something like that. Now, if they upgrade all the system, and this is just me playing devil's advocate, if they upgrade all these systems, and with all the problems and what we've witnessed here with what happened in DC and everywhere else, these upgrades, will they be beneficial or will they be, a problem? Because to be honest, you know what technology is like. Nothing works perfectly, no matter what you do. right? So having a fail-safe system in an ATC or an airport,
Hold on a second.
yeah, no problem. So that that is the question. I mean, because like if you upgrade stuff, you just made a very good point, Mama Squid. If they've got a system where they've got floppy disks, that's analog, and then you've got digital and analog. So wouldn't it be an idea to have a system that is not as much affected by the technology gremlins of today than what we had 20 years ago? Just saying. It's just a question I wanted to throw onto the table, because half of these incidents shouldn't be happening. Not with the technology and the stuff that we've got these days. Half of this stuff should not be happening at all.
Sorry, she slipped when she came in the room. She ran into the room and tripped over the rug.
Well, don't have to apologize.
Sorry. I can't get it right now. I'll have to get it later. You might have to ask Daddy. I'm slow.
I mean, if they're willing to put all this money into, the military, why not take some of that money and actually upgrade the aircraft, the equipment on the aircraft, and the pilots?
That would take effort and give a shit, and all they care about is themselves, their own pockets, and how many people they can get to like a tweet. Excuse you, ma'am.
Yeah,
So-
well, that's the only way you're gonna solve this.
Yeah, let's replace the backup system. See, this is common sense solutions. Why that don't the common sense solutions that seem to be like lacking in the general population these days, or like in Congress, like people that are supposed to be smarter than us are.
Yeah. I mean, Buck and Jeff, I get it, but what I'm saying is that if it's not broken, don't fix it. Upgrade it. Yeah, fine, upgrade it, but keep the original system in place. Keep it updated and keep it going, because we know that technology of today is not as reliable as it used to be.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, and the thing is, if we're hearing reports about their system went down a couple of times this week, okay, so why didn't they go onto the backup system? That was the backup system. Like what? So
It's a really good question.
so I mean, you always have to have redundancies, especially when it comes to air aviation and everything else. Like put yourself in a position in 1941 or in 42 or 43 when U.S. air crews flew their bombers across, Iceland and into the UK with.
I couldn't even imagine.
Right, all they had was a compass, a map, right, and whatever. They didn't have any TCAS systems. They didn't have any radar. They didn't have anything. They just had what they had. Now it worked. You see where I'm going with this? You see what I'm trying to say with this? I get what you're saying, but
Yeah, and there's more than one right answer. And the point here is the fact that even though we might not agree on how, we're still coming up with the 20 people who are here are coming up with more solutions than people who have billion-dollar budgets.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, Jeff. I got you. Respect. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, there's always an answer to a solution, but it's the willingness to actually take that answer and put it into action.
Yeah, but like I'm sure that the people who are in charge are too busy fighting each other to actually come up with solutions, let alone figure out someone to implement the solution. And that's one of the reasons that we just need to follow the money. Because where is all this money going? And all the budget is online. The budget and the breakdown is on the FAA's website. It's just no, they don't need to be transparent about it because nobody looks at it. You don't know it's there because nobody ever goes looking because the average American is a fucking idiot.
Well, once we're done with all this NTSB reports, why don't you and I go and have a brain aneurysm?
I'm really afraid we're stumbling into idiocracy and not realizing it. I'm afraid we've been there for a while. I mean, yeah. The thing is the old system may now be quick enough to process the data and how many planes one miss like me great granddad takes to last year to find where it went down. Just that.
That's actually also a good point, Chris. That's a bloody good point. But again, having a redundancy, right? Yeah, if it worked in the past, why shouldn't it work now? What? Okay, the planes are faster, but the thing is, the systems still work. All you have to do is just put. I mean, then again, they do say there are more planes in the sky now than there were 10 years ago. So.
But it's even something simple as replacing monitors and like making sure you have cables that aren't fried and making sure that you have supervisors that when they see cables that are starting to wear and show signs that the supervisors are taking care of crap, because we all know that we have supervisors, and not just in aviation but in all aspects, that don't report things and don't address issues and safety issues until they become a problem. Hence my mom tripping and falling on water that her boss should have had fixed 6 months before she fell.
Now, here's one question I do have to ask. ATC staff, what is the system of checking that they are not fatigued or not impaired, or that they are able and capable to do their job that day? And also, do they get, how many times in the first 3 months, or how many times a year are they then sent away to do refresher training or upgrade training or skill fade training?
I'm not sure. I would have to find an air traffic controller, and I know a few. I just don't talk to them on a regular basis, so I don't know if reaching out would be if they would be willing to come and talk to me. Because it's like, yeah, I knew you. We we're drinking buddies back in like 2009, 2010. But like that doesn't mean that we're going. Just because we're Facebook friends doesn't mean that like they're going to be willing to come on my YouTube channel. You know what I mean?
No, but the thing is, I mean, like if we did, hypothetically speaking, if I knew someone who worked in ATC and I agreed that, we would change, not show the face, anything else, or change the voice or whatever, and then pre-record it, and then ask them, obviously pointing questions or leading questions to get some sort of insight what it would be. I mean, there's a lot of programs out there who have interviewed ATC controllers, the stress level, how high it is, the amount of things they have to deal with, the amount of calls. And can you imagine 15,000 close calls? Those controllers, after that close call, would they still be sitting at that screen looking at all the rest of you, or would they be removed and someone else replaces them and they get sent home, or they get debriefed and then sent home, or whatever?
And when does complacency become a factor too? Just you've been staring at that screen for, how many day after day for how many years, and nothing's ever happened, and you've never had to deal with issues. And then all of a sudden, when you have to deal with an issue, how are you going to handle it?
Yeah, and also how many breaks do they get? Do they get like swapped around? Are they looking at that screen every 25 minutes and then get swapped around for 5-10 minutes and then go back to a different screen or whatever? It'd be seriously, it'd be really intriguing and interesting to actually be able to sit down with someone and go, what's your insight? Tell us about the life in an ATC tower.
So getting back to this, because we can move
Yeah.
on to something else. In response, the FAA temporarily banned mixed helicopter and fixed-wing traffic over the Potomac near the airport. New guidance now permits limited emergency helicopter access, but requires civilian aircraft to hold when helicopters are in the area. Why do civilian aircraft have to hold? Why can't helicopters hold? Like, why are helicopters the ones who are more agile and smaller, and not civilian? Why do they take precedence? Anyway, that's
Policy,
another
airport policy. Who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, like, you know, yeah.
common sense. We could use some of you right now.
Yeah. Well, not some, a shitload.
Oh,
$9.99 in $9.99 in where? Yeah. I mean, do you know what? I sometimes I'm sitting here and we like we've covered quite a lot of this and we've gone really deep. But sometimes I sit here and I say, why? Why are you doing this to me? Why do you do this to me? Why? I mean,
like to be tortured.
No, but I mean, it's like you. If I could sit here and go, do you know what? These people are absolute freaking idiots, all right? And they need to be taken outside, all right, and strung up by their feet and tickled with an ostrich feather. But because you can see it right in front of you, you know where the problem is. But if this problem has been going on for nearly 20 plus years, hello, McFly, hello.
Not enough action. Too
I
much.
mean,
What do we say in the military? How many people does it take to change a light bulb? One person to do it, and 20 people to tell you how. It's kind of the same situation.
Yeah, and then 20 people to tell you how, and then one person standing going, "Well done, good job, carry on as you do." Yeah.
Because you play World of Warships.
Oh, Roy, in the fucking heart fell. Oh, ow, you got me, bitch. Oh.
Because you know that you like to be tortured, and this is how we do it.
I know, I know, yeah, but I didn't realize we were going to be jumping into a absolute nightmare of bullshittery because
you said rabbit hole, and I gave you a rabbit hole.
You did say that I needed tunneling training. I mean, for crying out loud, I thought we were going to be talking about about the pilot and everything else, but we've gone from that to this absolute clusterfuck of a nightmare because, like, you can obviously see that there is a breakdown, not just in communication, but safety as well. The money, we need to look into the money. We need to do some digging into the money. Why is the money not going to place?
But I also started to look into the former head of the FAA, who only became a pilot in. Hold on, this is my notebook where I started to go down this rabbit hole. I just got to find it.
Listen, if they're going to allow Han Solo to land a freaking plane on a taxiway, all right, that should be sending out alarm bells everywhere. Oh shit, Han Solo just landed the Millennium Falcon on the taxiway.
So the head of the FAA during the Biden administration, he only is rated as a pilot for single engine only, but you're in charge of the FAA with everything. But you're only rated for a single engine flight.
What the fuck just went past your screen?
Balloons. I don't know.
You see, that's another thing, and with utmost respect, there's a lot of companies out there who employ people to like road captains, like in a logistics company, truck drivers, right? You've got a 20-year-old wet behind the ear, look at me, I have gel in my hair, right? Who has got no experience and only has a B license, a car license. has no idea about trucks, about the checks and everything else. Now, you've got someone in charge of the FAA, the most important body agency in all this, and he only has a single plane license.
Yep. And he didn't get it until 2023.
There's your problem. Just like a mechanic would say to the lady in the garage. There you go, madam. There's your problem.
He's a lawyer. There's your second problem.
Mhm.
He owned Whitaker Aerospace, which I can't find one freaking thing on. It seems like a shell company. I can't find that. Might get me Clinton, because I can't find one freaking thing on Whitaker Aerospace. You Google it and absolutely nothing comes up.
Can you send me that later after we're done?
I will. This is the yeah. This is yeah.
I mean, I find it quite strange that these people who are in politics and are in. Do you know what we should do? We should get Jim Carrey to lead the FAA, and get Jack Nicholson, okay, to do the FBI, and then we'll get what's his name again? What's that guy? Jason Momoa. All right, he can be Homeland Security. He can be in charge of Homeland
that
Security.
one. Have you seen that dude?
That guy is a brick. That guy is a walking fucking brick house. Yeah. All right. And then what we can do, we can get Darth Vader to deal with traffic enforcement. Because that's how stupid and ridiculous this whole fucking thing is. Oh, and then we'll get Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse. They can deal with, TSA, immigration, and all that crap. Just saying. This is how stupid, this is how ridiculous this rabbit hole is.
I mean, I don't disagree. All right. Let's finish this article, and then I think we should call it a day because it's almost 2 hours.
Can I just say one thing, though?
Yeah.
Everything that we discussed today, ladies and gentlemen, let me just point something out. With all the stupidity, the lack of trying to fix a problem that needs fixing, but a lot of people have lost their lives, and some of them were children, right? And the fact that this has happened, and there's still incidents happening at that aircraft, you should be asking your government, what the frick are they doing, or what the lack of. This is
bureaucracy, and not enough people actually doing shit.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing. Sorry, very quickly. I do apologize. I forgot to mention this at one point. Disclaimer: the thoughts and opinions expressed in the following broadcast by the host and guests are their own personal views and should not be taken as an endorsement of any kind. This is a space for discussion, perspective, and a lively conversation, but not for misunderstandings or misplaced assumptions. There you go.
Yeah, and you will hear things that you don't necessarily like on this channel because we have hard discussions. And Angel. We have difficult discussions, and part of the reasons we have difficult discussions is because if we don't, who will?
Yeah, and me and Squid, we do once in a while. We do sit there and we're growling at each other because the thing is we have difference of opinion, but we are both saying the same thing, but we just have a difference in opinion, and this is what is needed to actually we can't do anything. We can just point out what we see. But the people responsible are the ones we're talking about today. Sean Duffy, who's that?
That's the current transportation or Secretary of Transportation. He was a former congressman from Wisconsin.
Okay.
I believe.
And how much experience has she got with transportation, or what's her background?
His.
Sorry, my apologies. His.
I don't know, but I will look into it. But pilots have been warned for years about near misses at DCA, often filing reports through the Aviation Safety Reporting System with little result. Many described helicopters flying just feet below them during landings, especially on runway 33, where the crashed American Airlines jet had been cleared to land. One major issue is that military and commercial pilots use different radio systems, making communication difficult.
Mhm.
Several reports reviewed by the caller cited this factor in near misses, while others noted trouble understanding helicopter pilots, even on shared frequencies. Most reports mentioned TCAS alerts, and many pointed to DCA's heavy traffic and the pressure to move planes quickly as a contributing risk. The pattern adds to a broader theme: a government that has persistently ignored major warning signs, even as risks escalated in one of the nation's busiest airspaces. Last Thursday, Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy unveiled a plan to modernize air traffic control, and I will be looking into that too. This article has given me many rabbit holes to jump down.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, because I just, when you were saying that, so it just dawned on me. Pentagon, 2001, the incident with the. I'll talk to you about this afterwards, because something just dawned on me, because obviously after 9/11, 2001, all right. What gets me is the fact that they've actually,
things get a little more complicated after that too.
Yeah.
And that's when things started to be like, we started focusing on some things, but that's when I feel like focus literally went to over-focused on one area, and everything else kind of.
That's what we've done. Yeah. We should have focused specifically on him and the aircraft, and why, when, how, now. But unfortunately, in this situation, you've got multiple players in this game right now. You've got civilian authorities, you've got government authority, you've got military authorities, you've got.
Howdy to the guy with you. This spawn trooper, also known as the Welsh twat.
Easy. You even said that right as well. Fuck me. Easy, honey. No. No. In the heart. I can't believe you said that perfectly. No, freaking way. I quit. That's it. I'm done. Wow.
And this
You are the first. No, you are the first Yank. I'm going to say it. You are the first American who has actually said the word twat perfectly.
There we go.
That's not going to help you now. Oh, well, sheep shagger. Hey, Roy, it's not my fault you're jealous. It's, I'm sorry. Just because I can walk in any field and have a good time and you can't. Sorry, my bad. I can't help you on that one.
Thing to work though.
Huh?
I don't know how I did that for one time. I gotta play around. But
see, everyone thinks it's carte blanche now because you said it. Now everyone thinks, oh yeah, let's go and take the piss out of the Welshman. Yeah, fuck off.
The thumbs up doesn't work either, or at least not with my thumb.
Oh, so you've got this new. Oh, there you go.
Everybody hit the thumbs up. There you go. Done. All right.
So before you carry on, here's my one question for everybody. The next time you come to an NTSB stream with us, right? Every single person come with one country. I'm not joking. This is not a joke. One country, and it cannot be America, right? And if you're Canadian, it cannot be Canada, right? choose one country in the world and then research close calls and air incidents in that country.
You're giving my chat homework?
Yep. Because you called me a twat.
It's better than being a twat waffle.
or cockwomble. Well, there's a lot of them at the moment.
And this is why we get along so well, because we can make fun of each other. We get in an argument about something, and we go, okay, and see you tomorrow.
Yeah. And here's the best thing, with a hairstyle like that, absolutely. In the Navy. In the Navy.
Hold up. You're the one who keeps making fun of the Navy, yet playing World of Warships. Makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Stat.
Oh. No, but
right.
hearing you say that perfectly, he's made me so proud. He's like a newborn baby. Oh, she said it right.
I'm going to do some background on Sean Duffy, but I'm also going to do some background on his initiative because it aims to address safety challenges, reduce delays, and create a, quote, state-of-the-art system for today's complex aerospace. The airspace. That could mean state-of-the-art could mean a lot of things because state-of-the-art for aviation does not mean state-of-the-art for a home theater, for example. Like state-of-the-art it means different things to different people. It's
think about this conundrum. Here's a bit of a brain fart for you.
Here.
In 1969, or in the 60s, late 60s, they sent man to moon. They sent people into space. Right? In the 60s and 70s, they built a Concorde that could go to nearly twice Mach 1.2 or Mach 2. Right? There are aircraft, there are aircraft that have flown with multiple people on it, back and forth. And now we're back to planes. We basically de-evolutionized and then re-evolutioned, right? Stuff that, why aren't we on the moon now? Why aren't we in space now? Why aren't we flying in Concordes? Why are we paying God knows how much money, like 10 grand, to fly to Dubai, where with a Concorde, you just pay $2.5 grand, and 3 hours later, why is it? Why are we having all these issues when at some point we actually put a human on a rock 280,000 miles away from Earth? Explain that to me. I mean, I know that they say that in mammalian physiology and biology, they do say that a mammal can evolve, but it can also de-evolve, and I get that. But how can you de-evolve in technology?
Stats with the whole man on the moon thing. There was a show by Science Channel that followed a former FBI agent or a former CIA agent and a former astronaut, or former FBI agent, a former astronaut, and a conspiracy theorist who all worked together to scientifically debunk or prove conspiracy theories. And it's on the Science Channel. It was a series. It's worth watching because it was very informative on, yes, things could go the way the government said they could. And what happened could have actually happened, scientifically proved.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, perfect example. I know we're changing the topic slightly, but why would astronauts who actually pass through, there's a radiation belt around the planet, right? And they're saying, oh, if you fly through it, you die. Well, why is it then? All right, because in the 1960s, they didn't have the CGI or special effects, right? That came out in 1970, 71. That was really early on, and that was actually created, believe it or not, by George Lucas and his team. They were the ones who actually invented CGI and special effects. Anyway, but before that, it was stop motion effects. Yeah. So you can fly into space, and then you can build aircraft that go like that, and you're 3.5 hours you're in New York instead of 7-9 hours. And then the moment you start taking the money away from maintenance, safety, training, and everything else, look what happens. The air incident in France, where the Concorde, the French version of the Concorde, crashed. Right. So looking at this whole situation now with the DC incident, with anyone know more? The incident in Canada with the plane that flipped, the Philadelphia incident, you know, and there's other incidents that have occurred, and because
Mom, I'm still sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Mom. All right, because there's been so many incidents, I have been doing a little bit of research, and I've been sending certain videos to Squid, and and some of these videos are extremely scary because it shows incompetence.
In the event that I show any of those videos and I get copyright struck or demonetized or anything, we will do an entire stream where we just watch videos and talk about the videos. So there will be an entire we will do an entire
but you see my point though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some of that, can you imagine you're sitting there at what, 6,000, 7,000 feet, and then suddenly go, poof, you're like, what the fuck was that? Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, like, and now this bit with her, with like backstory isn't about. Oh God, I just don't want to. I feel like I'd rather walk through a minefield blindfolded.
All right, guys, I gotta get going.
Yeah, it sounds like Baby Squid is ready to rock and rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to say hi?
Hi. How are you? Are you being a good girl? You being a good girl, Baby Squid?
Say always. Yeah.
Or are you causing riots?
See, I'm always a good girl. Look at that smile.
Look at that.
Smile. Love you. On that note, are you okay? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. Oh. That hurt. All right. So I'm going to hop off of here, guys. Thanks for joining me for another fabulous time going down aviation rabbit holes.
I enjoy this.
I do too.
I enjoy this because the thing is, it's a change in atmospherics. It's nice to dig into something that has a little bit of juice. You know, did she knock your tooth outside? What just happened there?
Yeah, Gail caught it. She swung her head around and as I was talking and yeah.
Well, you're not bleeding, so you're all right.
She's fine. I'm not. And and Stats, thank you for the $1.49 super sticker banana scholarship fund. You got a banana scholarship fund. What do you think? Sweet. Okay. All right. Y'all have a great day, and I will catch you on the next one. Might do something tomorrow morning. Probably not though. I'm not sure. What?
Have you seen Jeff's comment? How about yesterday? Japan grounds military training aircraft after crash.
Oh yeah, I did catch that. I just that's another Japan grounds military training after crash leaves 2 crew members missing. Or 2024 runway collision at Haneda in Tokyo.
Yeah. You see what I mean about saying, like, you know, pick a country?
Yeah. All right. We will definitely pick this up another time because this is so much fun.
Yeah, and next
Hi,
time
Nelly.
we need to
How are you?
And thanks for having me again, Squid. I really appreciate it.
No problem. It's fun talking about something that is not legal related. Like it is, but it's like an offshoot and like it's something different. And every once in a while we need a break from the it's a hard subject, but it's a different kind of hard subject. Yeah. But it's one that it's related to many things.
Also, you've got a good community here who, you know, are invested in the topic as well, you know, which is quite good as well. So you can get different, like you got Mama Squid here, you got Jeff, you got Roy, you got quite a few people here who get invested in the topic, and it is good because then you're getting different opinions and different viewpoints and stuff. So.
And once again, I like talking to you about it because you were covering some of these things on your channel.
Yeah.
Before, like when I was looking into it, and I'm like, who better to ask than someone who was already looking into it as well, and probably looking into it in a different way than I was, and seeing things not only from a different military perspective, naval aviation versus army, different country. And it has an outside perspective from just not being an American citizen.
For the record, I've flown in military aircraft. I haven't flown them, but on a flight sim, that's not a problem. But my input is I watch the thing is I will watch a video of something like that, and I will watch it dozens of times. And if I see something, I usually stop it, take a screenshot, and I put that to one side. And what I do, I build my own video from what I'm seeing. So I'm sort of like dissecting it screen from screen, and that's why I thought, well, hang on a minute, something was not making sense because the aircraft was flying level, there's another aircraft coming in, there's one taking off, and there's a lot that didn't make any sense. And that brings me to the topic that we are going to talk about in the future is New York.
Oh yeah, I have, and we have a few hour car ride tomorrow, so I will hopefully have some time to discuss that.
Oh my God, I'm scared.
So
I can't believe you actually said twat perfectly. That I have to congratulations. I mean, I bow to your perfection. That's just absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we should applaud Squid Procol for actually saying a word that Americans richly cannibalize. The word twat is. I mean, I am so proud of you, my Padawan. And by the time I'm finished, you'll be able to walk over to someone and say, "Here's a tissue." And they go, "Oh, what's that for?" So when you take your face for a shit, you've got something to wipe your mouth. Sorry, my bad. I'll shut up.
Minor scheduling change. The person who is coming down to visit next week is not coming down as intended. So scheduling next week will be as normal, either 9 a.m. or 2:30 in the afternoon. Those times kind of work out because then I can still get stuff done outside, still get stuff done around the house. And and I catch my early morning people who don't
tell everybody.
But I also can stream in the afternoon and catch my West Coast people who think 9 a.m. is too early. Yep, I got to go. I will talk to you later.
Oh, the plane goes.
I will see you guys on the next one.
All right.
Bye, guys.
See you later.